Jargon is one of the reasons that people find the advertising and media industries so confusing when they first start. It can sometimes feel like people are talking a completely different language. So today, I'm going to go through over 50 different acronyms, jargon words and phrases that you'll absolutely hear in an agency and explain what they mean. Welcome to Media Imposter. My name's Jack and I'm here to help you make sense of advertising, creativity and careers. Wow, what a week. Welcome to the 50 new subscribers who've joined us, and thank you to everyone who has been sharing these videos and making sure that the information gets to the people who need it most. If you've not yet done so, you can subscribe below and become one of the imposters today. And if you look in the video description, you'll also see there is a link to the Media Imposter Twitter page where you can follow us. There are loads of different types of jargon that you'll need to know when you work in an agency. I'm going to be focusing on the words that are actually useful rather than the insufferable bullshit of corporate jargon that you'll encounter with words such as learnings, low-hanging fruit, circle back and deep dive. I can remember having recently started in my first agency and someone quite senior came up to me and asked,
yeah, Jack, we've got a major RTB this week and I'm stacked, so I need you to go on TGI, cross-tab the target audiences and do a deep dive on their touchpoint consumption.
To which I replied,
I'm sorry, what's a cross-tab? And a touchpoint? Diving?
Do you not know what a cross-tab is yet?
Immediately I felt completely useless, when in actual fact these were perfectly legitimate questions to be asking. I'm 1000% certain that I wasn't the first person to experience something like this, and I'm completely certain I won't be the last. Right, in an entirely random order, it's time to bust some agency jargon. A deck. In every other context, this would mean the part of a ship that you stand on or something you have a barbecue on. In agency land, bafflingly, it means a PowerPoint presentation. Brief. A document from a client explaining what their business wants to achieve, what their marketing wants to achieve, and what their comms wants to achieve. It's basically a set of instructions that tells you what to do. It will never, ever include all of the information that you need. RTB, or response to brief. Usually in the form of a deck, an agency responds to a client brief telling them how they're going to achieve the objectives. Strategy, a big word that gets slapped on just about everything, but really it's just an articulation of how you're going to solve a problem to achieve an objective, not to be confused with tactics, which are the tools you use to enact the strategy. Insight, this is the hook on which you hang your strategy. It's a nugget of information gleaned from audience data that unlocks a strategic opportunity. Clients, this is a brand that uses an agency to plan, buy or create its advertising campaigns. It's often shorthand for the brand manager, who would be your direct client. Channels and touch points. These are one and the same thing. It's basically any form of media through which advertising can be delivered. For example, TV, social media, radio, print. Campaign, a coordinated set of advertisements to achieve a marketing objective. Media owner, a company that owns advertising space that a brand can advertise in, or shorthand for the sales rep that you work with. Media Thursdays. This is basically just post-work pub on a Thursday. It's also the day of the week that if a media owner is throwing a party, they'll choose to have it on. Lunch. Being taken out for lunch by a media owner on expenses, usually on a Friday. The media triple. Going out for breakfast, lunch and dinner with media owners. I've only done this once, and I'm not sure I'll ever do it again because I almost died, I'd eaten so much. Jollies, when you get to go and do something fun with a media owner, again on expenses, for example, going to a football match. Media plan, a document that shows how a campaign will play out over a period of time, containing all of the deliverables and information that you would need to know about it, usually in the form of an Excel. Always double check it before you send it to a client. Media planner, someone who puts together the media plans, leads the planning process, liaises directly with clients, and coordinates channel specialists. Channel specialists or buying teams. These are teams that focus on one particular media channel and they focus on the planning and buying of that channel. Digital. This is a catch-all term for any advertising that you see online. PPC or pay-per-click. This is advertising in which the final click on an advert is bought in an auction within a fraction of a second. Usually search advertising. VTR or view-through rate. This is the percentage of people who view an online ad through in its entirety. Ad exchange. This is where ads are bought and sold programmatically. Programmatic advertising. This is essentially the use of software and algorithms to purchase display advertising space online. DSP, or demand side platform. This is an automated buying platform where advertisers and agencies can go to buy digital advertising space. SSP, or supply side platform. This is a technology platform that allows media owners to manage their digital ad inventory. DMP, or data management platform. This is basically a big fancy database that allows clients to organize their data in order for it to be used within advertising. AB deadlines, advanced booking deadlines. These are the dates by which you need to book media in order to go live at a certain time. Applies mostly to TV, and in TV's case are about 2 months ahead of when the activity goes live. Impression, when an online ad appears on a screen. Daypart, literally the part of the day that you're planning your media for. PIBS, PIBs, or positions in break, essentially the point in the ad break at which your advert will appear. It's considered best to have first or last because they're the most memorable slots. Reach and frequency, the percentage of your audience who've seen your ad and the number of times that they've seen it. If you times reach by frequency, then you get GRPs. GRPs, this is a unit of measurement for media delivery. It expresses reach and frequency as a singular number. TVRS, essentially a GRP that appears on TV and not, as Sam Fowler said on Twitter, a Blackpool-based sports car. TV spot, the space that a single TV ad goes out in during an ad break, usually about 30 seconds in length. IDENT, a short TV ad that usually denotes the sponsorship of a program or channel by a brand. Competitive reporting, this is checking what brands who compete against you are doing in their advertising. Crosstab, a data table usually containing survey data. TGI, or Target Group Index, this is a survey done quarterly that supposedly represents the views, tastes, opinions and media consumption of the British public. Gross cost, the amount paid by a media agency to a media owner in exchange for a campaign, often not including VAT. Agency discount, usually about 15% removed from the gross cost in order to turn it into net cost. This is the cost that the client actually pays, but will often have agency commission added to it. This depends on the fee structure of the account that you're working on, but can vary depending on the channel that you're planning or buying. PO number, this means purchase order number, and is given by the client to the media agency in order for them to bill the clients for the media activity. IO, or investment order, this is signed by the agency in order to confirm the booking of a campaign with the media owner. MEA, media expenditure authorization, similar to an IO but signed by the client in order to authorize the media spend. This will often contain the PO number. Pitch, this is a hellish battle royale in which multiple agencies compete in order to win the business of a brand. A new brief is issued and lots of senior people at the agency who don't usually work on the account get involved to try and produce the best possible response to the brief in order to win the business. Big dog, this basically just refers to a senior person who works at the agency. Lifer, this is someone who's widely considered amongst the people who work at the agency to never leave. VOD, video on demand or just catch up TV, for example All 4, ITV Hub, Sky Go, etc. Copy, simply the words in an advert, can sometimes mean the actual advert itself depending on who's saying it. Creative agency, the agency that makes the ads. OOH, this means out-of-home advertising, essentially billboards and any advertising that you see outside. DOOH means digital out-of-home advertising. It's basically those big digital screens that you see in shopping centres or at train stations. PCA, post-campaign analysis. Once a campaign's finished, we look back at it and work out whether it works or not. Econometrics, a fancy way of forecasting sales based on how your media is invested. It's an expensive but important way of understanding how your media has performed. Whew. That was a lot. If you've encountered other jargon words that I've not included, you can look them up in the glossary that I've linked to in the description below. That was by no means an exhaustive list, but it's a pretty good place to start. If you watch this and you think that there are other ones that I should have included, drop them below because people might find them useful. In my next video, I'm going to be talking about what it takes to build a killer media CV. I'm going to be taking the advice of someone who I know who has worked out some of the biggest mistakes that people make on a regular basis when applying to jobs in media. It's going to be really, really useful for anyone who wants to work in the industry. Remember, if you've not subscribed, you can do so below and become one of the imposters with me. Thanks for watching, everyone. We've got this.